All right. Tuesday, Donald Trump's top 3 legal advisors resigned. Same day, all 3 within 47 minutes. According to court filings released yesterday, internal memos leaked, 127 pages. I've been going through them. $2.4 million in legal fees, 89 strategy emails. Documents show conversations Trump's own lawyers called problematic. Not my word. That's page 34, line 12. Here's what I found. The resignations aren't random. The memos explain why. And what they reveal, yeah, this is bigger than staffing changes. Let me show you quick context. Donald Trump, former president, current legal defendant in multiple jurisdictions. The issue, his legal team just imploded during active litigation. Timeline fast version. Weeks back, Trump hired premium defense counsel for federal cases. Days ago, internal strategy memos started circulating among the legal team. Monday, someone leaked those memos to prosecutors. Tuesday morning, 3 senior attorneys submitted resignations. That's the setup. Now, the documents. These aren't anonymous sources. Official court filings. Public record. The lawyers who quit. Todd Blanche, lead counsel. Christopher Kise, senior strategist. Susan Netcheles, trial coordinator. Combined experience, 67 years. All top-tier defense attorneys. They didn't leave for better offers. They didn't cite scheduling conflicts. The resignation letters filed with the court Tuesday afternoon cite irreconcilable differences regarding legal strategy and professional obligations. Legal speak for we can't do what you're asking. What were they being asked to do? The memos spell it out. Okay. The evidence. First document filed Tuesday. I pulled page 17. It says, quoting here, client insists on filing motions counsel believes lack legal merit and may expose us to sanctions. That's not my take. That's the filing. What it means, Trump wanted his lawyers to argue things they thought could get them in trouble with the court. But here's what got me. Page 43, different section. Email from Blanche to Kise, April 23. Subject line, we need to talk. Body of email describes a conference call where Trump allegedly directed them to challenge the judge's authority to proceed despite clear jurisdictional precedent. Blanche's response in the memo, this puts our bar licenses at risk. Put those together. Yeah, the lawyers were being pressured to make arguments they considered frivolous. I went through this 3 times. Patterns clear. Trump proposes aggressive legal theory. Lawyers research. Find it's unsupported. Trump insists anyway. Lawyers document their objections. All documented. Now what nobody's covering, page 89, billing records attached as exhibits, shows $427,000 in research fees for motions that were never filed because the lawyers refused. Client paid for work product he couldn't use because competent attorneys told him no. Read that again. That changes this. This isn't about loyalty. It's about professional survival. Fallout 23 pending motions now need new counsel to file or withdraw. Upcoming depositions scheduled for next week lack attorney representation. Trump's remaining legal team, 4 junior associates now managing 8 active cases within 72 hours of the resignations. But wait, there's more in these memos. Page 56 contains an email chain 11 messages where Netcheles explicitly warns against a specific discovery strategy. Her exact words, withholding these documents invites obstruction allegations. Trump's response, according to the thread, let them prove it. That's in writing in a court filing. Then page 67, a memo from Kise to all team members, dated Sunday, July 5, 3 days ago. Subject: Ethical obligations versus client directives. It's basically a CYA document. Kise outlines 4 instances where Trump's proposed legal tactics conflict with rules of professional conduct. He sent it to the whole team with read receipts. Every lawyer confirmed they received it. 2 days later, all 3 senior attorneys gone. The final kicker, page 103, financial disclosure, shows Trump owes the departed legal team $1.8 million in unpaid fees for work already completed. Standard contract language requires payment within 30 days. Some invoices are 90 days overdue. So not only were they being asked to risk their licenses, they weren't even getting paid for it. Yeah, that's bad. That's just the first document. Subscribe. I'm not done. These filings are dense. What I'm showing you, that's the highlight reel. More details coming as I work through this. Okay, but look, got to be fair here. The other side has a point. Few points, actually. Trump's remaining legal team and GOP defenders say this is coordinated sabotage. And honestly, some of it holds up. Their argument, first, these lawyers knew who they were representing. Trump's legal style has been public for decades. Acting surprised now seems convenient. Second, the timing is suspicious. Right before major hearings, the entire senior team quits. That could be strategic abandonment to create chaos. Stephen Chung, Trump campaign spokesman, put it this way. These lawyers caved to pressure from the Washington establishment that wants to deny President Trump effective counsel. Don't agree with all of it, but that's not nothing. What they've got timeline does align with increased political pressure on Trump's legal team. Two of the departed lawyers had previously represented Trump successfully in other matters. Why quit now? Even Andrew McCarthy, former assistant U.S. attorney and frequent Trump critic, admits defense attorneys abandoning a client mid-litigation is extremely unusual and raises questions about external factors. Look, I'm not here to tell you who's right. Prosecution interpretation lawyers fled an unethical client. Defense interpretation. Lawyers were pressured to abandon an unpopular client. Both can be true. That's what makes this complicated. But here's where the defense argument gets shaky. The memos aren't just complaints. They're specific. They cite rule numbers, case precedents, exact quotes from Trump directives. If this were just political pressure, you'd see vague personal reasons resignations. Instead, you see 127 pages of documented conflicts with dates, times, dollar amounts. That's not performance. That's lawyers protecting themselves. And the financial piece matters. Defending Trump, even controversially, is lucrative, high-profile, career-making for ambitious attorneys. Walking away from $1.8 million in unpaid fees. That's not caving to pressure. That's running from liability. Trump defenders also point out that plenty of attorneys still want to represent him. True. But look at who. The replacements aren't coming from white shoe firms. They're solo practitioners, small-town lawyers, ideological volunteers. Not a judgment, just a fact. When your top-tier mercenary don't care about politics, just win attorneys all quit the same day. That tells you something. What I can tell you what the documents show, and they show lawyers who documented everything, built a paper trail and exited when they felt their professional licenses were at risk. You can call that cowardice. You can call that establishment pressure. But it happened, and it's creating real problems for Trump's defense. This didn't come out of nowhere. Backstory quick. Years back, Trump's legal team rotated frequently, but he always had senior counsel. Months ago, several high-profile attorneys declined to join his criminal defense team. Weeks before these resignations, reports surfaced about tension between Trump and his lawyers over trial strategy. Someone even said on record, former Trump attorney Ty Cobb, representing Donald Trump requires accepting you won't always control the strategy. What happened? Trump kept finding lawyers willing to accept those terms. Pattern. Trump faces legal challenge, hires respected attorneys. Relationships sour over tactical disagreements. Attorneys leave, new ones hired. Every time got away with it. Always had replacement counsel ready until Tuesday because this time the departures came during active litigation with hearings scheduled, discovery deadlines approaching, and the leaked memos made it toxic for other attorneys. Any lawyer considering joining Trump's team now has to read 127 pages of predecessors saying this client creates ethical exposure. That's the difference. Before, internal disputes stayed internal. Now it's in court filings. Public record permanent. Changes the calculation for anyone thinking about stepping in. See where this is going. Like this. The legal implications cascade. What seems like a personnel issue becomes a structural crisis. Following the trail, hit like. Tuesday, 2:17 p.m. Here's what happened. Todd Blanche filed his motion to withdraw as counsel of record. Irreconcilable differences prevent effective representation. Court went quiet figuratively. This was filed electronically, but legal observers reacted immediately. What followed? 2:23 p.m. Kai's files identical motion. 2:51 p.m. Netchely's follows. 3:15 p.m. prosecutors file notice asking for emergency status conference. Within 58 minutes, that fast. Now, what everyone missed. While people focused on the resignations, something else happened. The leaked memos weren't publicly available yet. They got filed Tuesday, but the leaking happened Monday to prosecutors directly, then to select media same day. That's not a breach. That's a strategic disclosure. Someone on Trump's legal team didn't just quit. They made sure prosecutors and journalists saw the internal conflicts before they left. Judge Aileen Cannon's response: emergency scheduling order wasn't reactive, calculated. You can see it in the order issued Wednesday. She set a hearing for Monday, July 13th, required Trump to secure new counsel by Friday, July 10th. Also ordered Trump's team to certify in writing that all discovery obligations have been met despite the staff changes. That's pointed. This is where it gets interesting because Trump now has very limited time to find experienced federal criminal defense attorneys willing to take a client whose previous team publicly documented ethical concerns. Catch up on 8 active cases midstream. Accept possibly delayed payment. Weather political backlash. Oh, and pass conflicts checks with courts in multiple jurisdictions. Good luck with that. Don't go anywhere. What I show next changes the picture. The legal market for Trump attorneys is limited and getting smaller. Stay with me. This part matters. What are experts saying? Renato Mariotti, former federal prosecutor, 12 years experience. Mid-case withdrawals like this create massive disruption and usually signal serious attorney-client breakdown. Plain English, when lawyers quit during active litigation, something's fundamentally broken. Another one, Stephen Gillers, legal ethics professor at NYU Law. The detailed documentation suggests lawyers building a record to defend against future malpractice or disciplinary claims. Key there. They weren't just quitting. They were protecting themselves legally. Here's what's interesting. Even Jonathan Turley, George Washington University law professor and frequent Trump defender, admits the timing and coordination of these resignations is highly problematic for the defense. When both sides agree, pay attention. Consensus among legal professionals. This level of documented discord is unusual. Finding replacement counsel this quickly is nearly impossible. The leaked memos will deter other attorneys from joining. That's where professionals land. But there's disagreement, too. Alan Dershowitz, professor emeritus at Harvard Law. Every defendant deserves zealous representation. If lawyers abandon clients during legal battles, that's a crisis for the entire system. Fair point. And Mike Davis, former Senate Judiciary Chief Counsel. This looks like lawfare. Pressure attorneys until they quit, then claim the defendant can't get a fair trial. That theory has traction in some circles. The counterargument from Lisa Rubin, MSNBC legal analyst. The memos are specific about rule violations. That's not pressure. That's documentation. Professional community is split on motivation but united on impact. Trump's legal defense just got significantly harder. That's not politics. That's logistics. Useful breakdown. Like it. Trying to separate the legal mechanics from the political noise. That's the goal here. If this helps, hit like. Matters. Why should you care? Real talk. How this affects actual people. Money. If you donate to political campaigns, pay attention. Trump's legal defense funds have raised $83 million from small dollar donors since 2023. Your contribution, it's going to lawyers. Lots of lawyers who keep quitting. Where does that money go when attorneys resign before completing work? Depends on the retainer agreement. What some donors are doing, requesting refund information, asking how funds are allocated, not advice, just what I'm seeing in donor forums. Precedent. This sets a precedent. Next time you hire a lawyer for anything serious, business dispute, criminal defense, family law, they might document everything. Quick example, you have a contentious divorce. You want an aggressive strategy. Your attorney thinks it's unethical. They might now document that conversation, build a file, prepare to withdraw and protect their license. Not dramatic. That's how attorney-client relationships work when trust breaks down. This case shows lawyers prioritizing bar licenses over client loyalty. Expect that trend to continue. Who's affected right now? 73 million Americans who voted for Trump watching his legal defense collapse. Multiple defendants in related January 6 cases wondering if their attorneys will face similar pressure. Happens in stages. First, the high-profile cases. Then it trickles down. What nobody wants to say, uncomfortable part. If Trump can't get experienced legal representation, courts might delay trials. If you believe he should face justice quickly, this slows that down. If you believe he's being unfairly prosecuted, this makes his defense weaker. Everybody loses when the legal system can't function normally. Not trying to scare you. That's what legal analysts are suggesting. Practical. What informed court watchers are doing. Tracking which attorneys get approached for Trump's team. Monitoring whether courts grant continuances due to counsel changes. Asking, does this precedent affect other high-profile defendants? Knowledge helps the bigger picture. 27 attorneys have represented Trump across various cases since 2021. Currently active on his legal teams. 11 after Tuesday, 8. That turnover rate is not normal. For context, most federal defendants maintain the same lead counsel throughout proceedings. Trump's averaging 4 months per senior attorney. That instability has costs. Institutional knowledge lost. Strategy disrupted. New counsel needs weeks to get up to speed every time. You're watching the legal system struggle with a defendant who can't maintain consistent representation. Whether that's his fault, his lawyer's fault, or external pressure, the impact is the same. Delays, confusion, expensive chaos, and someone's paying for it. Donors, taxpayers, funding, court time, the system itself. Real costs, real consequences. How'd Trump respond? Made it worse, honestly. Posted on Truth Social within 2 hours of the resignations. Quote, "My so-called lawyers were weak. I don't need attorneys who are afraid of crooked judges and the deep state. Real lawyers are coming." Reaction from legal community. 43 attorneys publicly stated they would not represent Trump after that post. Legal ethics experts called it attacking your own counsel publicly while they're still involved in your cases. Trump's remaining team came back with a statement. President Trump has full confidence in his legal team and looks forward to vindication. Notably, didn't address the leaked memos or the specific ethical concerns raised. Then Wednesday, latest development. Reports surfaced that Trump contacted at least 12 law firms seeking replacement counsel. According to sources close to those firms, 11 declined. The one firm that expressed interest requested $5 million retainer upfront. Given the unpaid invoices documented in the filings, that makes sense. Not cooling down, heating up. Social media back and forth between Trump and legal commentators continues. Meanwhile, the court deadlines don't care about the drama. They're still approaching fast. What's still unclear: 1. Who actually leaked the memos? The filings don't identify the source. 2. Whether any of the departed attorneys will cooperate with prosecutors. That's speculation. but the detailed documentation raises the question. Coming. Judge Cannon has the emergency hearing scheduled Monday, July 13th. Trump reportedly meeting with potential new attorneys through the weekend. Prosecutors preparing a motion regarding whether delays should be granted due to counsel changes. Deadline for Trump to certify new lead counsel is critical. If he misses it, court could impose sanctions or mandatory continuances. Also Monday, depositions scheduled for 3 witnesses in the classified documents case. Still unclear who will represent Trump at those sessions. And July 16th, discovery deadline for defense motions in the January 6th case. Missing that could waive certain defenses entirely. Should know more by then. Clock's running. Legal system doesn't pause for staffing problems. Subscribe. I'll cover the update when it drops. This moves fast. Hit subscribe. Notifications on. Where we are right now, Trump has 8 attorneys across all cases, down from 11 on Monday, $1.8 million in unpaid legal fees to departed counsel. 127 pages of internal memos now part of public court record. 0 confirmed replacements for senior counsel positions. Scheduled emergency status conference before Judge Cannon is on Monday, July 13th. Also Monday, 3 witness depositions in classified documents case. Tuesday, July 14th. Opposition briefs due in E. Jean Carroll appeal. Thursday, July 16th. Discovery deadline in January 6th case. Not public yet. Whether any attorneys have actually agreed to join Trump's team. Multiple firms contacted. No announcements. Silence usually means complications. Clock's running. Every day without senior counsel is another day prosecutors prepare without knowing who they'll face in court. Strategic disadvantage. Compounding. That's where we are. Trump down 3 senior attorneys, facing multiple deadlines, unable to confirm replacements. Surface read, staff turnover during legal troubles happens. But the 127-page memo dump changes calculations for every attorney considering his cases. The financial picture, $1.8 million unpaid, makes retainers risky. The timeline to find federal criminal defense counsel is brutally tight. If Trump misses key court dates, courts start making decisions about his cases without his input on counsel. If he meets them with inexperienced attorneys, his defense quality drops. If he somehow lands a heavyweight firm overnight, that's a story unto itself. Story's not over, still developing. Subscribe for the full picture, not just headlines. Legal filings keep dropping. I keep reading them. When something breaks, I'll walk through exactly what it means. No drama, just documents. Talks out.